No. So within the last 24 hours, Mike Malone was fired, terminated, let go, and relieved of his duties as the Denver Nuggets head coach. After 10 seasons or 10 years with the Denver Nuggets, beginning in 2015, 2016. And rightfully so. I agree with Mike Malone being fired slash terminated as the Denver Nuggets head coach. The Nuggets were right to fire Mike Malone. Now, just a little background. Mike Malone didn't make the playoffs his first 3 seasons as the Denver Nuggets head coach. And it took him 8 seasons to win the NBA championship. And by the looks of it, especially after last year losing in the second round of the playoffs to the Minnesota Timberwolves, they were just a one-hit wonder. I honestly thought the Nuggets were going to win the championship last year. That's who I was going for to win the championship. I thought they were going to get 2 in a row because I honestly thought they were that good. But one-hit wonders. I mentioned in a previous video, maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, in regards to Nikola Jokic. It was one of my videos in regards to Nikola Jokic. Because lately the narrative has been the Nuggets roster and Nikola Jokic's teammates are the reason they've been struggling. That is false, not true, and a narrative that they've been pushing lately to push or get Nikola Jokic to win the MVP. To push for or to get Nikola Jokic the MVP award. That is the only reason why motherfuckers are saying that the Nuggets supporting cast, and they're really not a supporting cast, I would say they're all one collective. Because honestly, well, I'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll get there. But that's the reason why people have been saying that the Nuggets, their team, or Nikola Jokic doesn't have help from his teammates in regards to the Nuggets roster, which is complete and utter bullshit. Yeah, Mike Malone won a championship 2 years ago. Now, this firing may be premature, but honestly, Mike Malone is more concerned with Nikola Jokic winning the MVP. He's advocated for it in press conferences. Or if you put his numbers and basically Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he didn't say, I don't think he said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but if you put his numbers and the other candidate for MVP and you didn't know their names, you just had their numbers, you would choose Nikola Jokic. Man, fuck out of here, Mike Malone. He's more concerned with advocating and more concerned with Nikola Jokic getting the MVP than winning and winning an NBA championship. That's where his focus was. Nikola Jokic and Nikola Jokic getting the MVP. Oh, and he's more concerned with Nikola Jokic winning the MVP instead of preaching defense. Something that the Denver Nuggets suck at. They're a poor team defensively, and their core players are poor individual defenders. And I'll get there. Everyone talks about Nikola Jokic not having help again and blaming his teammates. But the real problem is Mike Malone. And the problem is Mike Malone because he allows Nikola Jokic to do what he wants. And that's not helping the team win. You may have got away with it too. You may have gotten away with it 2 years ago winning the championship. And prior to that with Nikola Jokic winning, what was it? 2, 3 MVPs. Fuck out of here. And the way the game is played today, it's not real basketball. I said it before, I'll say it again. Nikola Jokic can get away with what he's been getting away with. But it seems lately that teams have the Denver Nuggets figured out. Like I said, Mike Malone is not preaching defense. And he's letting Nikola Jokic do whatever he wants on the court. The last 10 games that the Denver Nuggets have played, they've only won 7. They've lost to the Lakers, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Spurs, Golden State, and the Indiana Pacers. And they've only beaten the Houston Rockets, Milwaukee Bucks, and Utah Jazz in these last 10 games. That's a very inconsistent 10 games. You beat the Houston Rockets, who are number 2 in the West. And I've been saying they're the scariest team in the West, and nobody wants to see them in the playoffs. I've said that in previous videos. I've deleted a lot of videos since. You beat the Milwaukee Bucks, who are a legitimate Eastern Conference final contender. And you beat the Utah Jazz, who fucking suck. But you lose to the Lakers, Portland Trail Blazers, who suck. The Lakers are mediocre. Chicago, they're playing good ball right now, but they're a play-in team in the East. The Minnesota Timberwolves are mediocre. The San Antonio Spurs don't even want to win because they're tanking to get Cooper Flag. The Golden State Warriors are decent. And the Pacers are a decent team in the East. And yeah, the Nuggets should have beat the Minnesota Timberwolves the other day. And Russell Westbrook missed a layup instead of dunking it. I don't know why he didn't dunk the fucking ball. It's Russell Westbrook. He goes up for a layup and really gutter balls it. I don't know why that man didn't dunk the ball. But we're not going to blame Russell Westbrook for that because it shouldn't have got to that point. The Nuggets are super inconsistent in all aspects of their team. And that's due to Mike Malone's leadership. Everyone, again, talks about Nikola Jokic not having help. Blaming his teammates. When, like I said, the real problem is Mike Malone allowing Nikola Jokic to do what he wants. And that's not helping the team. Mike Malone is having trouble. Mike Malone was having trouble adjusting now that teams have caught on to their strategy. And that is Nikola Jokic having a high usage rate, allowing him to bring the ball up the court like he's a fucking point guard. He's not a point guard. He shouldn't have the ball in his hands that much. He should be focused on establishing himself in the interior. That means the post. On the block. Then once you establish yourself there during the first few minutes of the game, or maybe even the first or second quarter, then you can move to the high post and the perimeter. But the usage of Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, is too high. And teams have caught on to that. And now what teams are doing? So everybody thinks Nikola Jokic is so great. And there's no defense anyway. But now what teams are doing is allowing Nikola Jokic to get his numbers and just making sure the other players don't eat. And all that shit is catching up to the Nuggets, or has caught up to the Nuggets and Mike Malone. Like I said, teams, they seem to know Nikola Jokic is going to get his stats. And due to how the game is played today, and they know how the Nuggets are going to approach the game, along with being horrible on defense. And like I said, they make sure the others don't get off, because their team and their roster, especially their core. Now, I believe the GM was let go because, yeah, you're bringing in good players for the starting lineup, but the Nuggets bench is trash. They really don't have a legitimate bench or players that can come in and sustain what the starters do in the game. And that's why it may seem like Nikola Jokic doesn't have any help, because other teams are just keying on the supporting cast, so to speak. If Nikola Jokic were being coached and focused more on interior scoring and playing from the block, and then, like I said, taking it to the high post or the perimeter and not having the ball in his hands so much and acting as a point guard, the Nuggets will probably be having a better season. But Mike Malone allows this because he's more concerned with Nikola Jokic getting the MVP than actually winning and getting another championship. Like I said, Nikola Jokic's usage is too high, and Mike Malone encourages this. And that's why the Nuggets are struggling this year, especially late in the season. And that's why Mike Malone needed to move on. The Nuggets don't need Nikola Jokic averaging 10 assists a game at the center position. They need him to focus more on rebounding and playing some fucking defense. Yeah, he averages 12 rebounds. But sir, save that energy, because you barely play hard anyway. But save some of that energy from those assists and get 2 more rebounds. We need you at 14 rebounds. Because your highest rebound total, or your highest rebounds per game, is 13. So actually, if you want another MVP, how about getting 14 or 15? And leave the assistant to players like Russell Westbrook, who's proven that he can lead the league in assists, who's averaged triple doubles, and Jamal Murray, who's a proven playmaker on this team, and Christian Braun. But I'll get there. And they need for him to average at least 2 blocks a game. Nikola Jokic has never averaged at least 1 block a game at the center position. I don't give a fuck about steals for a center. And the NBA is so trash these days, you can just come across the ball. They're going to throw a bad pass or do something stupid, and the ball will just end up in your hand as long as you're in the right position. And you damn near don't even have to be in the right position. Nikola Jokic averaged 0.7 blocks per game this season. And that's pretty much his career average in blocks at the center position. They have people that can make plays again and distribute the basketball. And honestly, not just Nikola Jokic, Mike Malone should have the whole team focusing more on defense. Well, should have had the whole team focusing more on defense. And that was the issue with his coaching, in my opinion. The lack of preaching defense and holding players accountable for their defense and allowing in the high usage rate of Nikola Jokic that isn't necessary and not conducive to winning. Get the fuck out of here. That is why the Denver Nuggets are struggling. It's because of it was because of Mike Malone and Nikola Jokic. Now, there are people on the internet and YouTube saying that Nikola Jokic got Mike Malone fired. I don't believe that. And that's just some fucking narrative or some clickbait title that most of these niggas are using just to get clicks and views. I highly doubt Nikola Jokic had anything to do with Mike Malone being fired. And these motherfuckers aren't LeBron James. They're not running across the player. They may run it across. They may run it past the best player or Nikola Jokic. But whether he wants Mike Malone there or not, they were going to let him go. And they needed to let him go. And I'm pretty sure Nikola Jokic wanted him to stay because, like I said, he allowed Nikola Jokic to do whatever he wanted. And he was on his nuts, always advocating for him to win the MVP instead of focusing on winning a championship and winning games, period. He's more concerned with Nikola Jokic getting the MVP, and that's why he's allowing and using him so much in regards to playmaking. It's cool for Nikola Jokic to average, 5-6 assists. That's cool. But once you get into the 10 assist range and more, he has the ball in his hands too much. In my opinion. Now let's get to this narrative that Nikola Jokic doesn't have any help. Outside of Nikola Jokic's 30 points a game, 12 rebounds. Oh, I'm sorry, he's averaging 12.8 rebounds this season. So, yeah, you need to get at least 13 or 14, man, if you really want to be the MVP. Fuck out of here, bro. Like I said, his highest, and maybe I did mention that, his highest rebound average for a season was 13. Give the ball up. Have your ass on the block. And any ball that comes off of that rim, rebound it. We need you at 13 to 14 rebounds, 15 since you're a top 20 player ever, and a top 5 big man. Get 14 or 15 rebounds a game, motherfucker. Fuck out of here. And we don't need you getting 10 assists a game. And please, for the fucking love of God, play some goddamn defense and get a block. At least one. All it takes, you were what, 6'10", 6'11", you're the center. You can't average one block a game. That's just absolutely no effort on defense, bro. Bro, if you just give just an ounce of, just a little bit of effort, you can get one block. If you're really giving an effort and playing hard and worried about defense and stopping somebody, and you're a winner, then you should be averaging at least 2 or 3. This motherfucker's never averaged a block a game. But he's the fucking MVP. Fuck out of here with that MVP shit. For Nikola Jokic's career, he averages 21 points a game, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 0.7 blocks. And that 0.7 blocks is what he's averaging this year. Like I said, these days, When somebody is talking about how great somebody is in basketball, they're only talking about offense. And in my opinion, you are not a great player if it's just one-sided. You can do all this shit on offense because you're allowed to. But you can do all this shit on offense. Oh, and let me take that. You're allowed to the detriment of the team. But you play absolutely no fucking defense. You don't sprint back on defense. He isn't even challenged when he's on defense. And he doesn't play against other great players at his position or even halfway fucking decent players at his position. The only challenge he really has is Anthony Davis. The fuck out of here with Joel Embiid. The fuck out of here with that corny ass Carl Anthony Towns. The list goes. Rudy Gobert. Fuck out of here. Listen to these names. And honestly, and Nikola Jokic is a good player. But like I said, in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, Nikola Jokic would be Arvydas Sabonis, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, or Luke Longley. He'd be a decent player, but he wouldn't be considered dominating and definitely wouldn't have he wouldn't have one MVP, let alone 3 advocating for 4. Get the fuck out of here. Nikola Jokic needs to focus on rebounding and playing defense. And that's something that Mike Malone was not preaching or not holding him accountable to. That's why his ass needed to get the fuck out of here. Russell Westbrook on the season averages 6.2 assists. Jamal Murray on the season averages 6 assists. Christian Braun on the season averages 2.5 assists. That total average is 14.7 assists. And it would be more if you use those individuals to make plays and distribute the ball and have Nikola Jokic. If Nikola Jokic wants to throw assists, have him do it from the block. When he sucks the defense in, then he kicks it out. But Mike Malone has this motherfucker bringing it up the court like he's goddamn Tim Hardaway or fucking Jason Kidd or Penny Hardaway or fucking fuck out of here, bro. Not no fucking point guard. And that was the Nuggets problem. And that's the Nuggets problem. Well, that was the Nuggets problem. We'll see if something changes now that Mike Malone is gone. So between Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, and Christian Braun, they average a total of 14.7 assists. You have distributors and playmakers. And like I said, Russell Westbrook could probably have 2 to 3 more assists. Maybe Jamal Murray has 2 more assists. Definitely Christian Braun probably has 2 to 3 more assists, which will boost that total average. If Nikola Jokic didn't have the ball in his hands so fucking much. Nigga, we have ball handlers and distributors. That's the Nuggets problem. Now, Jamal Murray on the season, this season alone, averages 21.6 points a game. 6 assists and 1 steal. Jamal Murray, we need more of a defensive presence. 1 steal is cool. We need you at about 2. For his career, he averages 18 points a game. He's played for nobody but Mike Malone. He averages 18 points a game, 4 assists, and 1 steal for his career. No defense. But 21 points a game on the season and a career average of 18 points a game. And on top of that, they go to Jamal Murray when they need clutch baskets and clutch plays. And a lot of the Nuggets' success is because of Jamal Murray. That's who they go to when they need a big bucket and a big play, not Nikola Jokic. So I think it's safe to say Jamal Murray's not the problem. And you're getting more than enough help from 18 points a game. And 6 assists. That's more than enough help. That's enough, honestly, if you got the MVP. But let's move on. Michael Porter Jr., 6'10", small forward, averaging 18.3 points a game on the season, 7 rebounds, but he averages 0 blocks and 0 steals. Well, let's be specific. 0.5 blocks, 0.7 steals. For Michael Porter Jr.'s career, has only played under Mike Malone. 16.2 points a game, 6 rebounds, and his numbers have gotten better in regards to scoring the past 3 seasons. But he's not a defensive player. 0.6 steals and 0.6 blocks for his career so far. At 6'10". And he hasn't been developing a back to the basket game at 6'10". Now, when I say that these players have only played, and Nikola Jokic too, only played for Mike Malone, all 3 of these the first 3 I just mentioned, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr., fucking suck at defense. They have no concept of team defense or individual defense. Like I said, Nikola Jokic averages 0.7 blocks. Jamal Murray averages 1 steal a game for his career and averaging 1 steal this season. And Michael Porter Jr. averages 0 steals, 0.6 steals, and 0.6 blocks for his career, and 0.5 blocks and 0.7 steals on the season. And I'm not finished. But when I say that they've only played under Mike Malone, they are not being preached defense. Let's go to Aaron Gordon. 14.1 points a game. But he's terrible defensively. He only averages 4 rebounds. This motherfucker's 6'8". Listed at power forward and small forward. Only averages 4 rebounds.